faith of beliefs, restore me as a chief, record me underneath and hold me up to see we're more than memories, much more than falling leaves, no longer begging please or praying on my knees. There's more to history than superficial victories. Your kisses unseen flow through my bloodstream, the blood is rushing, there must be something, just do this one thing, reach out and touch me. Your love is awfully delicate, hug you for the smell of it, trust our building element, don't hasten its development. I can't believe you're feeling me, love is what you're telling me, I feel for you unwillingly, and now your love is killing me. Your hands are all too innocent, schemes to make it intimate, dreams of you play into it, scenes these days are different. I can't believe you're feeling me, love is what you're telling me, I feel for you unwillingly, and now your love is killing me.
Expect that everybody is having an amazing day. And feeling like they are in the right place at the right time, involved in what they want to be involved in, whether that's relaxation or a hearty discourse. Could it be sleep? Could it be entertainment? Could it be distractions? Today I am here to talk specifically and precisely about whatever comes to mind and whatever needs to be talked about. Whatever the accumulation of existence pulls me, us, we towards. Not a process, not in the process to convince anybody of anything, to recruit anybody, to follow any specific path. Today I'm here as a fellow traveler from galaxies afar. I'm here as a speck of dust underneath the fingernail of God's. Today I am here as a breath of fresh air on a mountain peak, with vision and clarity. Today I am here to celebrate the mystery of a conscious experience. Today I am here with an open heart, receiving, accepting, exuding, giving. Today I am here to say I'm sorry, I love you, thank you. Today I am here to experience the essence of my inner vibrations, to express and be aware of my outer vibrations, and to expand and deliver in a way that reflects the genuine unity of single divine breath. Today I'm here to tell you that we are not at odds with each other, that we are not at odds with what we call death, that we are not at odds with what we call life. Today I'm here as a friend. Today I'm here as a brother. Today I'm here as a son. I am here as a father. I am here as a grandfather. Today my heart beats with the rhythm of the universe. And I embrace and I trust that dance of spirit. I embrace the winds of change. And the solid foundation Today I would like to say to you, I understand your longing. I understand your suffering. I understand your joy. And with that, may I offer some Palo Santo to you, to the bloodline, to the Atman, to the human, to our four-legged friends, to the insects of the earth and beyond, to the creatures of the night, to the inanimate, to the adamant, Good day, sir. Thank you for coming on
Morning.
and participating in this beautiful day. Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Did you rest well?
I've rested very well. It was a nice sleep. I got straight to
You,
it. Didn't take long, and I didn't pee myself, so that's pretty cool.
you worked hard last night.
Yeah, that was some work. That was some work. You know what? I have this. I don't know. I don't think I'm unique in this, but sometimes it's fun to kind of push yourself. And that was
Yeah,
a situation where I definitely had to push myself. Because I've sometimes I have like a little bit of a desire to sometimes offer a more organized form of visual art or and auditorial art, like kind of like we're doing now.
yeah. I really have just joined you because the link is in the chat, but I was listening to you speaking just before I came in there. It's like you sort of like welcomed me in with your door open, saying, "Listen, come in and sit down, anybody, if you'd like to come and sit with me." But I'm really sort of sitting with you. I really dig your tone and your presentation, especially when I know you're doing this first thing in the morning. I think what you're doing is very important to share that vibration.
Thank you. Yeah, Today I'm feeling, it's so interesting. And you kind of, for, what we can call synchronicity. And so yesterday, and I just put totally random uh, little names to these videos, right? The morning light video, but then it has a
Yeah.
random name. I promise you, it's not well thought out. It's just I'm creating the little placeholder type of thing, and I
Yeah.
think, okay, that sounds kind of cool. That sounds cool. That sounds like something. And so yesterday, the kind of mini title was "Feeling Better,"
Yes. I noticed that.
and yeah, and again, when I wake up in the morning, I'm usually feeling good. Usually feeling good. I'm kind of I like the morning. I'm not like a I love sleeping too. I could sleep in pretty good, but I also like being up. I guess I like doing both. And when I was getting my littlest one out of bed and ready for school, she was saying feeling better.
Wow.
And I didn't know I didn't know what she was talking about, but I guess she was talking to my wife and asking her if she's feeling better.
Yeah.
And, kind of with the little opening ceremony that took place this morning on this stream, I'm just feeling a more of that unified part of our existence,
Yeah. There's an
unified
esoteric
within my
flow that seems
very
to
much.
be connected to the synchronicity part of things. And what you'll start to notice is exactly what you've just pointed out, video title, something I've been involved with another creator, and you'll maybe mention something to your wife talking about these sort of things, and the exact same phrase will be repeated on the television.
Yeah, oh yeah, that has happened so many times.
And you'll be like, "Oh, I just said that. Did you hear that? I just said that." And we're manifesting this extra, and it really is an esoteric sort of like sense of science to really just illuminate us in our purpose. There's not real any specific definition, I don't feel, for the synchronatic happenings, not events, but it really is an illumination of purpose for those who are looking out for signs.
There's an experience or event or I'll just
Yeah.
explain it. So I had I have a friend, and she was kind of having like feelings of wanting to hurt herself,
Yeah.
and so I was compelled to do strange things. And sometimes when I'm compelled to do strange things, I just say fuck it and do it. And I decided to do a voice recording for her and send it to her. And so I, was speaking to her through a voice recording and trying to, I guess, really offer a guidance and offer a change in the story. And she was telling me as she was listening to it, and a lot of it was kind of meditation-ish type of thing, visualization-ish.
Yeah.
And she said she was listening to it, and she thought of water. She thought of the ocean. And as she thought of that, my voice began to tell her to sit by the ocean and be with the waves, allow them to come in, allow them to go away, understand the rhythm.
Yeah, but it's like just talking about the rhythm also. It's maybe the musician in you, you've always been a creator, but there gets to a point in your life of being a creator with writing and music and expression that you realize the importance in trying to properly express every single word you speak. Now, it wasn't until I was forced into a recording studio and sang the same track 4 or 5 times over, I was pulled back out the studio and someone said, listen to this. And they went in and sang the words. They really pronounced the words properly and gave them depth and resonance. And this has a flip side because I really do feel you're a great listener as well as a great talker. And when we really focus in on the individual words that people are saying to us in a sentence, it elevates the communication somehow. And we're very used to just listening because we're already half formulated what we want to say. But if we truly focus in on that deepness, especially with your voice, when I listen into your words, it's like, wow, I'm thinking about this to say and that to say and da-da-da, because it's full of meaning. And I don't know if you've cultured this over a few years, but you definitely have a great voice, you know? So I could understand what you were saying about passing on an audio message and someone being able to deeply resonate with what you're trying to pass on, and obviously start to think about a thing like water, because that's definitely a flow and release.
Yeah, it is. It is. Sometimes just being with the water, and I started to feel more understanding of, sometimes you feel more understanding of yourself when you have more understanding of nature and movement in general.
Movement,
And I really needed
always
movement.
always action. Always action. Any sort of action will create this understanding and connection. There needs to be some sort of action.
And then the idea of the waves, not to kind of go back or push a point at whatsoever, but just it's in my brain, but it's the coming and the going is, and you know, when you're on the shore, you have that coming and going. But when you're in the pool, there is no coming and going. And that's fascinating as well. It's when you're on the edge, my friend, when you're on the edge. So we could choose
Yeah,
to
it's
be
like
in
if
different positions of this movement, like the yin
yeah,
and
it's
the
like
yang you're talking about the other day. You could be in the dark, you could be in the light, you could be right in between.
it's having that. Excuse me. It's having that. If we were a ship or a boat and we're harboured and we're tied to the dock, but that boat, that relationship to relate that we are a ship, to relate in this sense of restriction, we need to be able to release ourselves out into the sea and the ocean of communication. And it's like harbouring your thoughts. I had no idea where I was going with that there, and something has brought me to a point. Can you understand what I was speaking about before, but I don't know what I'm saying?
I could understand
I'm
it.
hearing this.
I don't know why, but
Yeah, I'm hearing this. I'm hearing this for the first time. I'm hearing this for the first time also. So it's like harbouring your thoughts, keeping your thoughts to yourself. These build up these negative opinions and characterizations without proper communication. So we need to release ourselves out into the sea of communication. You know, really to fail or to succeed or to uplift or to offend. But we must talk.
Yes, 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 yes. One of the things that I've noticed, and sometimes when I speak, I do imagine that um, there's common ground in general from our human experiences. You know, there's some there's a lot of items that we can share in different ways, and one of the things that had uh, been a important lesson for me was to overcome the fear and the consequences for saying what I feel should be said, for
Hmm.
sharing what I feel should be shared. For I found when I was younger, I was a pretty keen observer, and I felt like I wanted to become part of the discussion, and I, for whatever reason, suppressed that. And at one point, and I was guided to search for myself, and 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 things came to light, and I found relief in being whatever the hell I am, in being a person that sometimes says things that are irritating to people, that sometimes says something that is music to someone's ears, that sometimes makes people laugh, sometimes makes people cry, and that I am worthy of sound. I am worthy
That's
of
great. That's
putting out my
fantastic.
vibration.
That's fantastic. And it's fantastic for two reasons. I understand that I actually had a conversation with a group of people at an event one night. Oh, just a second. And it was, I felt that we would actually do better as a species without language, that we didn't need to speak, that we would know, that we would enhance this sense of understanding without having to use any words. And we had a really good deep conversation about it and a real good laugh about it also, but it was like sort of like, yeah, maybe at the end up, yeah, you would know what you wanted. You could make maybe some hand gestures.
Yeah. Yep. And I'm convinced that we would have a conversation all the same, and it wouldn't just be with the.
Yes.
It would be from a different symphony, from a symphony of thoughts or a symphony of movements. I don't think the conversation would cease to exist. Like we were talking the other night, well, what if, there was no computers and we, found ourselves back spending our time integrating with nature? Would we fail to have long distance communication? I personally don't think so. I think that we would still intermingle with the people that we were meant to intermingle with, near and far.
Yeah.
and I have no basis of I have no basis whatsoever to to put this on.
Just another strand on our spectropsychosis.
Yes, precisely.
Yeah, and that's
and
far
you know,
and that's far and wide.
yeah, it's far out, and you know, I like to lean on the swords on the side of furthering our possibilities. I think about a few different stories sometimes, and one of the illustrations that had been presented to me was the process of training a elephant. And you probably heard it, most people probably heard it, and the elephant is as a young elephant, it's tied to a stump, and it kind of keeps the young elephant from, you know, traveling too far. And as the elephant gets larger, the stump remains the same, and the elephant becomes strong and more powerful. And the elephant, by a psychosomatic process, is detained by something that it needs not to be detained by. And that analogy works for actual things, not just my imaginary things, I think.
The
Hey man, your hair is looking
imagination
beautiful.
is. I've been out on my bike today all day, so yeah, sometimes the wind grabs a hold of it, man. But it's open-mindedness. These spectral strands that go into the universe that connect to individual psychoses, if that is even a proper word. It's like the I know we've spoke about a little bit of how I go against a lot of the philosophy behind diagnosis to do with certain mental illnesses and depressions and anxiety, and the exact same with ADHD diagnosis in people who are on the spectrum, because I know we spoke just a little bit about the Indian mystics and schizophrenics who are treated like gods almost in their country. Every single person that I've met with this diagnosis, and unfortunately most people that I've spoke to with these diagnoses have eventually been on very strong pharmaceuticals. Every single person that I've met with this diagnosis are absolutely 100% highly fragile and delicate, amazing people. Every single person that I have met with this condition that has something so unbelievably special about them as far as creativity, communication, and understanding of absorbing some sort of energies, mathematicians, great with computers, but just can't go to those shops, can't take a phone call, don't want to go to the party. There's such an amazing amount of unbelievable. Sorry, brother.
No, I was just wondering, like, what is this? What does all that mean?
All it really means is, like, unfortunately, there's massive think tanks. You see, we need to totally understand. I know you get this. Once we get to certain levels where there's corporate entities involved, there's massive amount of psychology involved, especially at the top end of the business market. And that deep psychology, when it goes into the roots of advertising, tones, smells, colours, times of years, certain numbers, ching, cha-ching, 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 we're all pre-programmed to go that way in a flow. And it's the exact same on the health front. And these things are created to create an unwell workforce and customer base for the industry. The industry and the corporation always say that this is the corporation that runs this whole planet. That corporation is made up by 3 or 4 different major corporations and major industries. The 4 horses of the apocalypse with the 4 major oil companies. Okay. I don't really want to get into it. We can do a full podcast about it at one point. But we've got all the fiscal side of things, and things all tie up to this thing that is it's a labeling machine, you know. And
I guess really what I'm interested in is when I guess what I was actually getting at earlier was maybe somewhat describing, very poorly, but somewhat describing my own psychosis.
Well, I'm just going to stop you right now. I'm going to stop you right now. Stop saying things like that. Stop saying things like, I maybe did explain it probably very poorly. You don't need to say that.
Well, I'm not attached to these things. I'm not attached to this.
But you don't want to be
description.
speaking anything. You don't want to be speaking anything into your psyche that is depleting you or taking anything away from your main purpose. You know, I'm going to give this. I'm going to give this a go.
Yes, you're right.
It probably won't be. It probably won't be very good. Yeah, it probably won't.
Hey, stop that. Stop that.
Exactly.
Okay, point received. Point received and accepted. Thank you. So I was describing I was describing some of my path towards integration and early parts of that path, where I was specifically saying I was learning to be okay with my own opinions and sharing them with others. I was learning to overcome being absolutely terrified of an imaginary response. And so what I'm curious about, and what I guess spend some time with is how we improve our earthreal existence. And so when you're discussing these very talented and unique artistic folks, I'm kind of thinking in a way like, you know, how do we heal? That's put simply, that's what I was thinking.
How do we heal?
How does one heal?
You see, it's like when I see you heal, I see you heal. In front of my eyes, I see a recovery. I see some sort of regaining of self-confidence. I see some regaining of an attitude, or whatever you would like to call it. That's the trigger to heal others. I mean, it needs to be this sort of like symbiotic flow. It's always back to nature. When you look at the root systems and how other root systems help other failing plants and trees in a forest, they recognize what's maybe needing more fluid and they pass it underground. That's our sort of symbiotic flow. And unfortunately, the marketplace that's been created, it's a health before wealth. It's so integrated into everybody's sort of psyche. This is still the thing that you do need to do, but the whole marketplace is poisoned. And how do we heal?
And I will say it time and time again that
I think it's about healing yourself. I think just to finish there, I think it is about healing yourself. I don't think there is any way, because I do think that once individuals do sort of, it's like I know that people tell me, "Wow, get a great energy from you, get a real sort of like inspirational vibe," and then when they find out my own sort of like a situation, I'm like, "Wow, how have you done that?" And it creates that thing. There's energy behind it. There's the vibration behind it. There's a real human story behind it. And I think individually, rather than how do we heal, is how do I heal? And then when you feel healed, then you share that vibration, and I think that is the ripple effect. If he can do it, if she can do it, I can do it, they can do it, we can do it. We, I think, is way down the road. You know, I used to really try and put out a vibration to a wider connection, try and put out a wider sort of message. But then I sort of like realized that I was missing me.
yes, it seems to always go back to that, doesn't it? I like to listen to, specifically, I've listened quite a bit to a group of Jungian analysis, they call themselves, Jungian analysis.
Yeah.
Analysts, Jungian analysts. And they have a lot to offer. And I would say that, there's a lot of beautiful thoughts out there. And there's something that I'm curious about. And a lot of this analysis that takes place is searching for a root to things. And I have a feeling that your path to healing might not be interested in that type of process. Am I right, wrong, in between?
Well, it's I do obviously feel like every blade of grass I'm looking at in my garden, we all are that individual, and whatever your condition, your ailment, your maybe mental deficiency, you're feeling maybe weak in certain things, I think every single person will have their own biological, physical, and spiritual healing. Now, within that dynamic, I can 100% say I'm spiritually there. In the biological and the psychological, show me someone else who can be as more positive or so determined in planetary solutions. I'd love to shake his hand. On the physical, I'm broken. I'm never going to heal. And that's an acceptance part of the pain and the condition. Many people try and heal that part. Many people try and heal the part that is really totally unhealable. The doctors keep people going for years and years and years. Another operation, different pharmaceuticals on all fronts, from the psychologist to the surgeon. Nothing but a marketplace. But this psychological, biological, the physical and the spiritual, there's a balance in that can be attained for anybody with any condition. And I truly do believe once the psychological and spiritual part of healing has taken place, it has a massive effect on the physical. But yeah, my condition is a degenerative condition, but is managed. Not by surgeons, not more operations, not physiotherapists, not pharmacology, by determining by my own connections what is best for me and my body and my psyche. It's a three-pronged thing always, I think: psychological, biological, the spiritual and the physical. I know that sounds like 4 things. God damn it.
Yeah, when I'm listening to some of these sayings, I want to try to give an example. Let's do that. There was let's say that I have I find it difficult to maintain a relationship with a lover, and for me, it would be a woman. And again, I'm trying to give an example that's not really my example.
Yeah, it's not a
And
very good example. It's not a very good example.
certain things, I'm gonna run with it. I'm gonna roll with it though. and and we trace it. We trace this instability with triggers, things that trigger me and make me lash, or and I lash out, not make me. And the psychologist, ask me a lot of questions and this and that, and then they might find that my mother is fits into a particular type of archetypical dominant mother or something like that, and they go, okay, this is why you're doing this. So this is the psychoanalysis, a very that's my attempt at describing like the psychoanalysis kind of process of healing. And I guess what I'm asking is, well, you said something a few conversations back was, and I think we were speaking of spiritual healing, that it's going to happen instantaneously when it happens. And in my understanding, it's going to happen irrelevant to my childhood, irrelevant to my particular place in the hierarchy of humanity and civilization. And the on and off switch is not tied down. It is not
So-
restrained.
This is beautiful, okay? So, yeah, it does sort of happen like a light switch, an oh my god moment, but let me take you to... you've jumped off of a high height into water before, haven't you?
A high height in the water? Not
Yeah.
too high.
There's never been...
Not very high.
Have you ever experienced that moment where you might be standing at the edge of somewhere and you're preparing to jump over, and you need to think about it for a little moment before you commit to jumping? Have you ever did something like that?
Well, I'll be very brief with this. I was in the military, and I signed up for a job that required me to jump out of airplanes.
Oh my
And
god.
I very quickly found out that I was I have an extreme fear of heights. And so the first time I did that, I literally have no recall of being at that edge.
Well, this is the thing. I don't know if you're a very good example for this. Because what I was wanting to say was that it's actually that
Let's
moment.
try it anyways.
I'm going to roll with it just like yourself. We can only try. That actual moment.
We're gonna. The rhythm is still there, my friend.
That actual moment when we're just about to jump from that, and we have that little "can I do this" moment. If you freeze that moment, freeze it, because that moment sometimes doesn't last for too long. Maybe be like, oh, I don't know if I can jump this. We need to jump it, and your friends are saying, come on, we'll count you down. 3, 2, 1, and you're like, oh, I'm going to do it both, and you'll go. But if you can freeze that down, there's deep connections to just what you were talking about, flicking through the pages with the psychologist to try and find out the psychosomatic thing that's maybe holding you back in different areas. It's inbred, inherited fear. It's fear. Now, that light thing on did happen for me through my process of my own individual path. And it was like, oh my God, yeah, man. Just seeing the light on everything was illuminated. Get it all. Know the mechanics, know how it all works. Know it's all demonic against the good and the bad. Get it all. It just came to you and you just felt balanced and integrated by that. And that's that. But the fear thing is, you see, I can remember making a video walking into the forest in the dark about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's pitch black. And all you've got is me on a little bit of an audio saying, it's pretty creepy. Yes. Do you like walking into the dark? And I've walked into the forest at dark a lot of times. I'm saying, do you like walking into the dark? This is a strange thing about the dark, is that I like dark places. I like not being able to see what I can see in the middle of the night, because not only do I know that I'm protected, but I've got my own balance about being in places that I can't see anything. I says, my biggest fear is not the dark. I says, my biggest fear is the light. My biggest fear is what I can see. The zero integrity to maximize profit, the billions being made of pharmaceuticals when the world all suffers from certain conditions, the outpricing of some people for health insurance, the way the cancer patients are treated, the way the children around the world are treated. And that list would spin on. But it's like recognizing that you ain't scared of things you don't see. You're really quite aware of everything you do see. That's the light. Because it's action reaction. When you don't really connect to these real things that are happening, you're building walls, you're still working yourself out. Because as soon as you see it all, you understand purpose. And that's why last to bed, first up, taking the medication to facilitate that, but see myself as a warrior, as a soldier.
Your analogy is good. It's really great, actually. So I could maybe expand a little bit on that fear. Because I told you the story about my first time exiting an airplane. Yeah. And I would say that the horrifying might be a good description. And so literally my mental decided to shut down, but my physical continued. So I was still aware, but my point of awareness had decided to move to keep me intact, I think. And what happened over time? Over time, I was stepping out of airplanes with disposable cameras in my pocket, doing photo shoots in midair type of thing. So the threshold was crossed, and it was so, I want to say, different, because I've had cross thresholds, spiritual thresholds as well, where they are so I guess irregular, at least in the beginning.
Experience.
Yeah.
Experience. We experience with our eyes, with our ears, sensation of feeling, touch. And what we experience triggers the chemicals, the adrenaline, the dopamine, the serotonin. Not just those three specific, but in different layers will cause blackouts, will cause euphoric dreams and visions.
Has somebody ever asked you specifically for your assistance?
Many times.
And is there anything that you might share with anybody who may be in need of some potential measures that we can take to find our light within, to find our precious,
always,
peaceful.
Always. That's why I'm now. This is at this age. I'm 59 this year. At this age, this is why I've now. This is why I'm now on the planet. With me understanding of my own self-healing capabilities, I now need to help others, and it's self-heal. I ain't healing nobody. I'm not healing one person. I recognize people's vibrations and be able to alert them onto the real true path of calling for own self-healing. It's self-awareness, self-healing, and it's all free. There's no charge. There's no. I ain't writing any books. I'm not selling any medicines. I'm not doing no t-shirts. None of that sort of stuff. This is all about brother, sister, each other, healing the planet to heal ourselves. This is where it comes from. Real, true, natural roots of healing. And yes, man, it's like my number is available and email addresses and can be contacted anytime.
How can somebody contact you?
No problem. I'm available through the Skype or through the Discord or my email.
That's an interesting thing, and I feel like I'm very much in agreement with you that the responsibility falls on ourselves. And it is not a burden, my friends. It is not a burden. It is a blessing. It is a blessing to.
But see what you said. I understand and agree what you've said, but is it a responsibility to look out for your neighbour? Is it a responsibility to maybe feed a dog or a cat that comes to your home? It's not a responsibility. It's your duty more than a responsibility. It's a lot deeper. There's this esoteric outward connection to absolutely everything that we should have some sort of sense of responsibility to. You know, it really is as deep as that, you know. It's beyond everything that's all out there. Everything.
It's very it may seem to be hypocritical. It may seem to be that. When you hear the words, you know, you have to heal yourself, and we know that we are actually a unified. We are.
But this is the thing as well.
We are part of a larger, being. We are, just like we have smaller, we could break things down into smaller components internally. You know, we could maybe experience ourselves as one individual cell of ourselves.
If we pressed every single human being on this planet at the moment together, we would just look like a molecule. I mean, we're only separated by this thing that's called space, which is the connection between us. It's not like there's this. See, the philosophies and the ingrained sort of the communication and the way that we think is designed for us not to make these extra connections of understanding. You know, a lot of the play in words that you maybe see me do sometimes, it's like these words just split up for me as I see them. And then when you split them up, sometimes you see the energy shift in the word. When all the letters are together, has a certain dynamic in the actual word. When that word can easily be used for something else, like Shakespeare, right? But and yet. The exact same word can be used within certain context and have the same meaning, but as a negative and yet as a positive.
Yeah, indeed.
You know,
Indeed.
so the tiniest of
I
subtle
often
little things
use,
like that.
and and so it seems like we do. I believe that we have a responsibility, you know, not only
To each other.
to each other and to beyond, and that responsibility. We have a responsibility to ourselves, and thinking about what can I do, you know, to improve the overall experience. And you don't have
It's
to.
just
I
by
don't believe that anybody has to think about it the way I think about it, or think about it in any form. Or I don't think that anybody has to do anything to change. I don't believe. And again, this is just my own conceptualizing into words something that's truly indescribable.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of go back to a good me makes a better you. A better you makes a better me.
100%. And I really can't do anything for you unless I've worked on myself.
Yeah. Yep. And then,
You know,
and what I think about, sometimes we go, well, who am I to, you know, to say these things? Who am I to have these shots, these thoughts, and you know, talk about being good when I'm, you know, doing whatever? You know, what right do I have? How can I actually help, you know, improve the condition? And what I've found through my own discovery is I don't have to do anything but be here now.
Would you know something?
I don't have to do anything. I
What
don't.
it sounds
It's all already there.
What it sounds like is like the physical, psychological ego battling with the spiritual ego, right? That dynamic can sometimes go on for a while. That can go on for a while. You're sort of like justifying yourself in all different ways and means, and trying to look out for signs and synchronicities, improve yourself and look for improvement, and to look around you. Are things in my life actually getting better, or am I putting myself under more stress? It's all these egotistical parts of our nature that is not yours, has been built up through characterizations, things we've seen in movies, things we've heard our parents saying, things we've had, like you said, the human experience. These are not really true ours at a core dynamic of the self. And the self part of us, this self sort of like electrified life force, the SELF, that's your soul. You know, this thing that people are not really too sure about or talk about, or this feeling of something inside. This is the true core dynamic of the spiritual self. And I know these noises. I know you're at your work now. I've heard the indicator going twice, and you get up when you open your window to do your smudging before you go in.
The silence, was it good for you like it was for me?
Beautiful. I was doing certain things today, and for whatever reason, this hasn't happened for a while, but words with CIA have been popping into my vocabulary, and things I've been reading and having to follow. And today I was having to do certain things for the tax authorities here, and the word that popped out was depreciation.
Depreciation.
Yeah, man, I'm just, yeah.
Hopefully they're
fun.
not depreciating you.
It makes no difference. I've accepted all decisions.
Yeah.
I sort of, I've not really spoken to you at much point, but I think the other day people were talking, I was like, oh, being sacrificed. Oh, I think that's actually happening to me. And sort of like joking about it a little bit, but that, yeah, as things go on, and it ain't just me, this is a thing. And I think that we will find out that many people who have decided certain paths in life and are speaking their minds have been treated in a certain way now, because it's easy to for us to be identified, because here I am, that's my I. You know, it's like you've got my website, you've got my phone numbers, you've got my email address. All you need to put is my address into Google Maps, and up will come my home. I ain't hiding. You know, I'm in these people's faces. I don't like anonymous. Never been up for that. Never trusted that. Yeah, it's time to face the sheepdog. Then the shepherd's got problems.
My friend, your keen awareness was very much correct. And it's time to run in and kind of stand on a different front of the battleground. Wish me luck.
Yeah, man.
You know, I want to do good.
Sail away.
Wish
Sail
me
away.
luck.
That's what I'll say to you today. Sail away. Lift your sail. Create your own breeze. And without a doubt today, now you have spoke this into your own existence. Okay? Just to let you go. Morning Light Radio with the title of The Rhythm. Today, my friend, in your mind, when you have to maybe get up and move about in your workplace, do so with a little skip and move as if you're dancing. Not in a noticeable way, but maybe if you need to move to a cabinet or so, just give it a nice smooth, as if you're like a ballerina. Give yourself a bit of rhythm in your movement today. Your physicality and spirituality recognize that you're trying to incorporate flow in your movements. You'll be very surprised to see the great coordination in your workplace when you start to move this way. Not like people pointing out, what was that? Did you just pirouette? But a nice, smoother movement when you're putting a pen on the table or lifting your coffee cup, do it with some elegance.
And with
But
those
not enough
words,
they're going to not enough they're going to
gonna
call the
say
doctor
thank-
though.
I'm going to say thank you and God bless. And
Yes.
thank you, everybody out there, for being. God bless. I'll talk to you later.
Peace, man. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you so much.